Winter is finally here in San Diego, and that is actually a fairly, surprisingly, a good time for carnivorous plants to grow. Hopefully that one Drosera regia will recover, and that one will resprout, because that was my mother plant that I used to take cuttings for other plants. This plant is actually about a year old, actually, right here, from a cutting. Very big. This is a 6-inch pot. And here's the tweezers for fairly large tweezers. You know, my hand, whatever. So it's a fairly big plant. Anyway, that's not what I came out here to show you. Things Australian. Okay, so my cephalotus are actually doing well. They don't mind the winter, and they don't really produce all that many leaves. What is it here? And this one, which flowered and kind of, you know, produced seed and then kind of didn't do so great because of the energy required. Starting to grow back and actually able to take a cutting from that guy. So my favorite sundews have been producing germinae, or however you say that. And, well, these are Drosera scorpioides, and I really like those plants, so I spread the germinae around on this pot, germinae, however you say that stuff. And there's a seedling of Drosera binata that I grew, and a couple cultivars of Venus flytraps. But that's not what I came to show you either. Here, last year, I planted some seeds of these pygmy, no, not pygmy. It's definitely not pygmy. Of these tuberous sundews, and now they are coming back from their summer dormancy. This is probably one of those peltata or articu, whatever. These are the easy to grow ones right here. They do look very nice. And as you can see, the sun is over that away. We've actually got a fence right here, and it's blocking the sun. But they do very well in this kind of lighting condition, it seems. Maybe they could be a little redder, but they seem to be doing fairly well. And then I've got this interesting species over here. I don't even remember what these are. I'm gonna have to figure it out. I mean, I know what, I have electronic documentation of what I have. I just need to figure out which one's which. This guy very, very interesting. I don't know why it won't let me go any closer there. Got these little hairs on the stalks. Really should be using a tripod for this, but I like this guy. I think this is like Metiziari or something like that. But I'm kind of wondering. I think I'm gonna need to provide some supporting something or others, because I think they're gonna fall over, and that won't be all that great. Yeah. So these guys. Very interesting sundew. And they start off kind of, you know, they start off, actually I didn't have these guys in enough light at first, so that's why some are rosetted and others just started climbing right away, because they were, you know, already up there. But these guys are not very big. So that's one kind of, I don't know, not really a problem, because they're still very beautiful. But, you know, there's my finger. There's the tweezers you saw before. Could go across the whole surface of the soil, and, you know, they're just pretty diminutive. Same with these guys. But the cool part is, they actually made it through their first dormancy. Now, I did have a little tray that I would water maybe once, maybe 3 times, put some water in it during the summer, and just to keep the soil bottoms moist, even though the surface was totally dry. And the cool part is, though, this is a success. I didn't really expect them to come back, because I know it's a little hard to get seedlings to develop tubers so that they'll actually come back the next year and not just die and never come back again. But these guys, they did, and so now they're back. Okay, so I actually was transplanting some Drosera tresii, and I was gonna put into, okay, let's see here. Here's my setup right here. I've got 3 pots full of these tuberous sundews, and these 2 pots were supposed to have tuberous sundews in them too, but I don't see anything, so I started digging up the soil to transplant some of these Drosera tresii in there. Well, this pot did not have any tuberous sundews in it. It's just, you know, in there because I had some room. But anyway, so I started digging these guys up, and I started finding tubers. Some of them were orangish, another one was pink. I forget which it was. The pink ones are pretty cool. But anyway, so I'm like, oh great. After I transplanting Drosera tresii into these, oh great, I'm just killing, you know, tuberous sundews that I didn't think existed. Well, so I kind of redid, you know, everything, or I just kind of tried to put it back the way it was. Hopefully some of them on the edges were not affected by what I did. And so there's one coming up from this pot. I expect the numbers of those that emerge to be very low relative to these, for instance, because of what I did. And I haven't seen anyone in this pot besides tubers, but I'm pretty confident that they will come up in a little bit. And that's still not exactly everything I wanted to show you. Oh, there's some more Drosera scorpiotis, and another few more pygmy Droseras with a Pinguicula caerulea and a Drosera sessifolia, a very baby Venus flytrap, and a soda can cup. And there's my little cutting from the cephalotus I took. Yeah, those guys, the scorpiotis didn't survive. So that's why it's best to always have multiple pots to keep your stuff in, so that some will live even if the others die. Yeah, might as well just tour the Utricularia giba, little aquarium here. I'm doing pretty well. Actually, I need to start trading and distributing some of this stuff because I have too much of it. I just got like a couple cups full, and supposedly there are 3 clones of that stuff in there. And here's some Mexican Pinguicula that, as you can see, the sun is coming over the fence and hitting these guys. Have them hanging on the wall. These might be Gigantea, but they're probably, or I thought they were, a hybrid between Gigantea and Gypsicola, no, Moctezuma, but they're kind of looking like Gigantea, I guess. And my main problem was there are very few glands on the other side of the leaves. So, yeah. I'm not sure exactly what these plants are. We'll see when they flower, which might be soon. Unfortunately, one of my original Pinguicula gigantea is not doing so well. It's probably due to the media mix of 4 cat litter, or 4 cat litter, that's probably it. The other ones have 1 part cat litter, and they're doing well. Even though this one isn't a year older, it's a mix. Yeah. Anyway, that's not quite what I wanted to show you either. Androsophilum. I've lost a lot of those recently, but, you know, there's some replacements, and I've got enough seed to keep me through. Sphagnum moss. And here, this pot had a lot of trouble with the soil surface drying out, but I have hope because, oh, can't zoom in that far. Let's see, where is it? I'm gonna find this thing myself. It's kind of hard to correlate what I see with what is on the screen. Okay, there's that leaf that I see. There's a pile of stuff, and the seedling should be, there it is. Okay, to steady this camera. That seedling is in all probability Drosera gigantea, which is, of course, the biggest sundew in the world, and it's a tuberous sundew. So, it's possible, even though the surface, the seeds I had to put rocks in there when I watered the top, even though it's sitting in a ton of water, because it's a tall pot for Drosera gigantea. The soil surface kept drying out, which can kill seeds, but I found that it, contrary to what most people say, I guess it doesn't, because obviously, that's sprouting. But yeah, so I was really concerned, but drying out, I guess, wasn't too bad for a sundew like this, because that's what they experience in their natural habitat. But anyway, so I have hope that more will sprout, and that'll actually have Drosera gigantea, which is pretty cool, because that's the biggest, the biggest sundew, and it gets big, and it's just impressive. So I'm just happy that things are going pretty well this winter, actually, even though I haven't really spent too much time on my plants. Yeah, where's that water coming from? Oh, from some watering. Well, it's kind of interesting. Today is the 6th of December, and if you were to guess what the temperature is outside here right now, you probably wouldn't be able to. That's because, what is the temperature? I would say it's not any lower than 70 degrees. We have really weird weather right now in San Diego. This is outside in December, and the sun is shining. Ceres and Near are going dormant. Venus flytraps are actually having a lot of trouble with dormancy because there's a camera filming a Drosera indica that's still alive in December, time lapse. Anyway, because it's so hot, and we go through these hot spells where it's been like 90 degrees in November, or high 80s, that they get confused and they'll flower twice, and then they'll come back out of dormancy. For instance, might as well show you. Here's my Sarracenia bog, which hasn't actually been doing all that well. Hopefully, I did transplant everything last year about this time, so hopefully they'll come back. But yeah, so here's kind of what I'm talking about. This is December, and that's a Venus flytrap. That's the B52. I don't really care for cultivars all that much. There's a bunch of Drosera sesfoil. Anyway, let's see how active this trap is. It'll be kind of interesting. Okay, so not all that active. This one's SW Giant Venus flytrap. Oh my, look at that. Oh, was this leaf blocking the view? Yeah, too bad, because that was a very active trap right there. I'm gonna find another one now. See? Fast. Okay, so yeah, this bog is having a bit of a trouble. I think our sun is just too bright, and honestly, the Drosera filiformis is kind of dead. It's been bad. Drosera capensis are doing okay, but people always recommend to give as much sun as possible to carnivorous plants. At least that's what I've found. And well, that's not really true, because if you live in a place where I live, yeah, okay, they'll do fine with a lot of sun, but some plants just don't like it. So these guys have a little bit of shade here on this big tree, and so their Drosera madagascarensis are happy with their shade. They kind of need the shade, otherwise they'll burn up. But they can handle pretty strong light, but they need a lot of support. So you'll notice they've got a bunch of flower stalks supporting them. Got some pretty tall flower stalks there. It's actually pretty impressive. I like Drosera madagascarensis. And they're tropical, grow year-round, even though they die sometimes. They'll usually come back. Drosera nidiformis is right there. As you can see, compared to a Drosera Alicia, whatever, they're not that big. Drosera venusta, there's one in the corner right there, actually. Very impressive sundew. I like it a lot. There's a Drosera natalensis that I have. That's what at least, I think it's natalensis. It might not be. But most of those right there are natalensis. I should probably repot this thing soon. Even a Drosera scorpiotis. But it's Germany. It's a good thing they kind of spread around during the rains. Anyway, yeah, these are some plants I've got for sale on eBay right here. Drosera capensis. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Actually, I came out here to get some for my customers. I guess got a little distracted. Okay, that's all for now.